We're out in the garden today for a tough but an important lesson to learn. This is Motivation Monday. We have been enjoying an amazing season out here in the garden. It's not uncommon to come out and pick 12 or 15 squash and zucchini from these 2 rows of squash. But as you can guess from looking at these plants, when I came out tonight, I knew there was something wrong. They didn't look like it. Just yesterday, we picked 15 squash out here and these plants didn't look like that. But I knew that we had squash vine borers living hidden in these plants. Several days ago, I guess, there would have been a squash vine borer moth that planted its eggs inside the stems of these plants. Those eggs matured into larvae that are eating these plants from the inside out, and they will be dead in just a few days. Their days of production are over. That's sad, and I've learned my lessons from what I did wrong in the preseason. I'll make sure not to repeat that again. But here is the important lesson that I want you to consider, one that is of eternal consequence to each one of us. We find a lesson in James chapter 1, verse 15. So just as a moth came and planted an egg that turned into a larvae that destroyed this plant, that text talks about how desire, if it goes unchecked, uncontrolled, matures and gives birth to sin. And sin, if it's allowed to exist in our life and grow and mature, what it gives birth to is death. Spiritual death, separation from God, because God cannot be in the presence of sin. And so the lesson in James chapter 1 is to address it before it even gets to sin. You should address it with desire. How can you stop desire? What have you learned about the things that you struggle with that can keep you from letting it go any further? It's an important lesson of eternal consequence, recognizing that God is a God of mercy. God is a God of cleansing when we follow and are obedient to His way and to His will. I hope that you'll take some time this week to really examine your life and to think about, what desire do I have that's leading to sin, that could lead to death, spiritual separation from God from eternity. We do not want that. And that is the critically important lesson that we take from something that's just temporary here on earth, these plants. We apply to ourselves, our souls, and we look to God for the answers in His Word. If I can help you in your study, in your growth, and in answering these questions for yourself, I would love to. If we don't know each other, my contact information is at the end of this video. If we do know each other, reach out to me. Let's sit down. Let's study God's Word together. Let's find those answers and know that we rest safely in the arms of Jesus right now. God bless you this week.